It's K Divine. Excuse me. I'm still recovering from being sick. It's been a slow process this week. I was hoping that it would go through my system quickly, but it's taking its sweet time. Um, but I definitely, when I have the energy to make a video, I definitely do my due diligence to do so. But there's something very specific I want to talk about today, and I think it's been weighing on me a little heavy because I kind of touched on it in the my little series of like who set me up, and I talked about my workplace, um, which the people that I worked with were clearly involved in whatever they're part of the larger gang stalking group that has transpired outside of everything else that's happened. But I want to talk about workplace mobbing real quick because workplace mobbing and workplace bullying are not quite the same thing. A workplace bully is usually like one person targeting you for whatever reason because they don't like you, because they want to see you get fired, because they feel like, you know, they're entitled to doing stuff like that to you. Uh, they're jealous of you and they just want to see you, falter. But workplace mobbing is on a totally different level. Um, Workplace mobbing is a leader or a group of higher ups that get together and gather other people, other employees, to harass you and work up against you and essentially push you out of the company. And there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the midst of all of this. For the individual, for the person that it's happening to, this can be very distressing. Um, a lot of people, I would say probably, that have been uh, mobbed in their workplace, I think it has caused a significant amount of emotional distress because you don't really know what's happening until it's too late. Just like in any narcissistic relationship, you don't know what's happening until it's too late. Um, and it starts off kind of subtle. They start micromanaging you. They start doing little stuff to piss you off. And that's why I told y'all in my series, like, this had been in the like they had been in the works of doing this for some time. And honestly, in my situation, I think that they were doing it as retaliation against me because I hold a lot of truth in something that they didn't want other people to hear. I told you guys that I was a manager. I was a second shift manager for almost 2 years. And they made it difficult for me during that time. Even though I was one of the best employees that they had, I was making shit happen for them. I was helping them with their numbers. I was always there. I was always, anytime they needed me, I come. And it was never appreciated. And so, I decided when I was like, I just can't take this anymore, and I wanted to focus on my own life because I was like, I can't keep putting myself in these situations with these people to be disappointed. Like, these people clearly don't want me to move forward. They want me to stay in this position forever, and I want more for myself. And it was clear to me that these people saw my potential, and they wanted me to they didn't want me to be able to move forward, but they also didn't want me telling other people the truth and what happened, because when I did step down, my manager conjured up this story of like, oh, well, she's stepping down so she could focus on school, which that really wasn't it. I started my master's program in 2021, And they had I was doing well. My GPA was fine. Like I was doing just fine in my master's program. I struggled with my, not because of work, but I struggled because of like my ADHD and stuff, which I found out later on about. And, that was a whole process in itself. I was still growing and learning about myself at that time. But it wasn't because of school. It was because they weren't giving me the tools that I needed to succeed. It's like they were setting me up for failure. It's like they wanted to see me fail always from the beginning. 333 on my clock over here. And I just didn't understand. And it really didn't hit until after I didn't really see the damage that they were doing until after I had my daughter. That's when they started messing with my money. That's when, they started being weird towards me, excluding me from email chains and excluding me from teams, group messages, and things of that nature. And the crazy part about the workplace mobbing, though, is that all of these people are cowards. None of these people will come to you and tell you that they have a problem with you. There were several occasions where I gave people the opportunity to say what it is they needed to say, and they're like, I don't have a problem with you. I don't dislike you or anything. But every chance they got to sabotage me, they did. But they never would tell me to my face, ever. They do their little keyboard warrior stuff, putting stuff in messages when we're sitting right in the same room, and I'm like, you can speak to me directly. But they wouldn't. Some of them thought that they could disrespect me, and then I was going to go out and hang out with them outside of work. I had one of the girls that I trained, that I brought up into the company. Like I didn't bring her into the company, but I helped her, gain her momentum. And she ended up becoming team lead after I stepped down from my position. And she was getting married at the time. And when I started noticing the harassment and stuff like that, and she was involved in it, and I started questioning her about it, because I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you messing with my phone queue settings? Why are you doing all this stuff? And she was just like, that's what I was being told to do. And when I confronted my boss about that, he tried to, like, oh, it was just a misunderstanding. Oh, I don't think like, I'm like, and I basically told him, like, I'm like, so you're telling me that this girl is all these misunderstandings, then why are you putting people in these positions that are incompetent, that don't understand simple instructions? It doesn't make any sense. And he couldn't answer any of my questions. But this girl, she was getting married, and she had did all this bullshit towards me, and then had the audacity to send me a text message talking about hey, were you still gonna RSVP to the wedding? Like, you think I'm gonna come to your wedding? You think that you can disrespect me? Excuse me. You think that you can disrespect me? You think that you can be a bitch towards me at work, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, it's okay, I understand, and I'm gonna come to your wedding? Hell no. Fuck is wrong with you? I left her on red. I didn't even respond to her, and I never spoke to her again after that, unless I had to. I think that pissed her off, because the thing about a lot of these people, because a lot of the people that end up mobbing you at these jobs, they're guided to do it by other people, because other people allow them to. They say, like, oh, well, this person's this and that, so we don't like her. Like, well, if you don't want to be like her, like, you got to stick with us. And so they'll do these evil things towards you just so that they could be a part of this group. I had one girl that she had also, like, had a baby right after I did, and she came back and I spoke to her. We had a little conversation about being new moms and all of that. And then like a week or so later, when she bypassed me in the hallway, she gave me like, hey, like I did something to her. And I was like, oh, she's one of them too. And then like a few months later, I had to come in to work on a Saturday. I had to come into the office on a Saturday. And we had bypassed each other in the hallway. And she nervously was like, oh, hey. And I just didn't speak to her, and I just left, went about my business, because I was like, I already know what you want, so I'm not even going to address you. And then she proceeded to go back to her desk and send me a message like, I couldn't help but notice there was some awkwardness between us. And if there was anything that I said or did to you, you know, and this is part of how they bait you too. So they're the ones that are starting the problem with you. And when you become non-reactive and you choose not to respond to people's bullshit, then they want to try to flip it on you and say, well, if there's an issue, like, we can address it. Like, I like to address these things head on. And it's like, bitch, no, you don't. Because you listen to somebody else. Somebody told you, we're not talking to her. We're doing this. Like, it's all this secret shit that's going on behind the scenes. And these people are in meetings, they're in group chats. I promise y'all, if your teams, like if they use like Slack or, you know, Teams or, I don't know, Skype, whatever, if they use any of those, I can promise you right now that if you're chosen and you are being workplace mobbed, that there are literal group chats and probably in their phones too of you. Because I remember like anytime I would move, there were certain people who would start typing on their computer like, she's going to the, you know, cafe, she's going to the lunchroom, like, and then people would start showing up to be in my way. That's when I started noticing street theater the most, was in the workplace, and how there was set up conversations where like these people thought that they were making me jealous. They thought that I wanted their positions. These people thought that I was bitter about not being a manager anymore, which I'm like, I'm the one that stepped down. I was perfectly fine with not having that position anymore. I was working towards different things. I was working towards my degree. I was working towards, you know, figuring out what was next for me. I had been wanting to start this YouTube channel for a long time, and I was thinking about how I could do that, how I could fit that in, being a mom working full time, while also like the whole time I was tracking everything that these people were doing, which I don't even have my proof anymore because it's all in my old phone and I threw it away. Okay. But I just want to let y'all know, like, that workplace mobbing shit, those people are cursing themselves. Because there are people who participated in it who are now on your side because the evidence is coming out that you were wrongly targeted. Because I promise you, whoever you are that's listening to this and you've been in a workplace, like you've been mobbed, I'm sorry, there's a fly coming around me. If you've been workplace mobbed, there are people right now who are asking questions because I'm pretty sure however you left quietly. That's the only way. Okay, that's really the only way that this is gonna work for you. Because if you crashed out, it may come back, but it may not come back for a long time that you were innocent. Because that's what they love to do. Because that's really what they were trying to do in the first place. They really wanted, not only did they want to push you out, it wasn't just about getting you out of the company. They wanted you to self-destruct. Okay, this is why, like I said, like the street theater and stuff, like them faking conversations about, you know, promotions and, you know, doing all that weird stuff around you and pretending like you're not there so that, you know, that you can feel like you're invisible, so you can feel like something is wrong with you. It's like the fact that these people had to go out of their way to do all these things, it should tell you who they are and who you are. Because after a while, when I started realizing really what was going on, I was like, this is low key the biggest compliment I've ever received. If you had to get the whole company, the entire company, people who I never really spoke to, people's names I didn't know, people in departments that I never even interacted with, to gang up on me and I'm sure there's some false reports about me somewhere that I was never aware of, which I'm sure there's false reports about you as well. People making up false documentation and all this other stuff about you just so that they could try to justify the reason why they do the things that they do and how they're treating you. Like, that just further lets you know how powerful and how valuable you really are. And see, this is the problem with these toxic workplaces, because as you can see, based on the way that they treat their best employees, they can't handle good talent. They don't know how to treat good talent. They coddle the people that they like, their yes men, and most of the time the yes men are really mediocre, below mediocre. I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna hold you up. A lot of the people that y'all that got the positions that you should have are really mediocre at best. Sometimes a lot of them are really below average. A lot of them just really want to be in charge of people. They really don't know what leadership is. They don't really like their job. They go there for the check. And but you came in with a lot of passion. You came in with a lot of fire underneath you. Like, you really cared about the stuff that you did and the way that you produced your work. And you're probably like that with everything you do. And these people can't handle that. And the reason why is because none of them have that. And these people have relied so heavily on their titles. And right now we're shifting into a space and time where authenticity and realness is necessary. And they started getting to a point with you where they realize that they can't fake around you. They can't pretend to be like you, because they had the title, but you have the oil. Okay? Excuse me. They have the title, but you have the oil. You got the grit. You got it in you to do the things that these people claim that they do. This is why these people steal your ideas. That's what was happening to me. They would send people towards me and ask me certain questions, or tell me like, oh, I heard they're going to be doing this, and that. And I'm like, oh no, they shouldn't do that. They should do X, Y, and Z. And then all of a sudden stuff starts moving. I'm like, huh. And that's when I started being real quiet. And that was part of it too. That was part of the reason why they really wanted to get me out, because they started realizing that I understood what it was that they were doing to me. That they were doing all of this bullshit, going and using my words against me, or using the things that I say and passing it off as their own, right? And it was easy for them because they were the ones going into the rooms. They were the ones in the top meetings and all of that. So they could repeat the things that I was saying, and it would sound so good. And, but I wasn't there to tell them that was really me. They wanted to bury me. And go watch my video about it. Like, if they have to hide you, if they have to bury you, you're the one that needs to be seen the most. That's really the reason why them people wanted to get you out of there. Like, because this is what people do. Because really what it is that they can't handle you as an employee. They can't handle your talent. Like, you're way too qualified for the position that you're working in anyways. And they know that, right? They know that you're way too qualified. Yet they don't want to promote you because a lot of these people can't fathom you having a higher position than them. They want to, you only have to be beneath them. And if you're not beneath them, that makes them uncomfortable, because they know that the minute that you get your foot in the door, that you're going to take off, and they don't want that. And some of these people are so evil and so demonic that they are willing to do anything. They are willing to put their jobs on the line. They're willing to put their homes on the line. They're willing to put their kids, their family, everything on the line just to come and destroy you. And this is why I've been telling y'all, I've been seeing like, people taking out second mortgages, and they're going to be foreclosures, because it's coming. There are people who did things in an effort to make sure that you were not going to prosper. That's why I said the other day or yesterday, you were supposed to have been gone already. You were supposed to have been in a mental institution. You were supposed to be in jail. Even if you are dealing with like homelessness or, food scarcity and all of that, like, but the fact that you're still emotionally and mentally balanced to the point where you're not lashing out, you're not doing all this extra shit out here in the streets, that kills these people's narrative of you. I've been telling y'all for a long time that these people have been calling you crazy. They have been calling you crazy for so long. And they were hoping that after everything that they put you through, after all the blockages that they put in your path, after the gang stalking, all of this, the bullshit. Like, I was just watching a video of this lady earlier this morning who was talking about gang stalkers taking pictures of you. And I was like, bro, that happened to me. And I didn't understand why this person was randomly, like, I was with my daughter at a park, and then I saw this person walk by and take a picture of me and just walk away. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And this was months ago. So knowing now, like, oh, that was the reason behind it. That's what they was trying to do. It makes sense. And it's like they were hoping, like, these people were reporting back to these people, trying to make sure, like, well, how is this person looking? How is this person doing? Because even, like I said, like, obviously, financially, a lot of people right now are going through it. That's just what it is. Especially in this economy, it's a fucking mess. But the fact that even though you may be struggling financially, like, you're still taking care of yourself the best that you can. You're still, like I said, you get up every day and you do what you can. You're moving forward. You're not allowing the things that have happened to you to stop you. That is really threatening to these people. They really don't like that. It really bothers them to know that no matter what that they have done towards you, that you still keep moving forward. And that you still get back up and keep trying. That hurts their entire narrative of you. They told these people for so long how incompetent you were, how stupid you were, how just loud you were, how wrong you were, all of these negative things. They've been talking about you like this for so long. And they don't have anything on you. They don't have a single piece of evidence that would say, yeah, this person needs to be in a psych ward. This person, like, the fact that you keep going, even though you're struggling, the fact that you keep going is making these people look stupider and stupider as the days go on. And the crazy part about it is because you haven't fully fallen, like I said, like, to me, a fall is when you completely give up on yourself. A fall is when you are, even though, like, you're going through stuff, like, you just decide, like, I'm just done. I feel like that's a true fall, where you give into depression, you give into the anxiety, you give into the, oh, I guess I'm crazy and I'm just going to go on psych meds and I'm going to let them diagnose me as schizophrenic because, like, and I even saw another video today that was very validating of a psychiatric doctor saying that a lot of the women that come into his facility that he worked at, like, a lot of them, it wasn't because they were mentally ill. It was because of their jealous mothers and sisters, which is so crazy because of my mom and my sister have been telling people that I'm crazy for a long time. Okay, they've been telling people that I'm mentally ill and that, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Oh, those things never happened. And, like, my mom literally tried to tell me to my face that I didn't almost die in childbirth. Like, why would I make that up? That's not something to play around with. And the fact that I felt it. Having a near-death experience is not something that you can just make up. It's not something that you could just say, like, oh yeah, I had a near-death. Like, no. When you really have one, it's real. And it's scary as shit. Okay? It's one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in my life. Especially it was in the midst of me. I never even got to hold my daughter at that point. So I was so fucking mad because I was like, I'm about to die. I didn't even get to name her yet. I didn't get to hold her because I was shaking because I was dying. My insides were on the table. So, it's stuff like this. This is what I'm talking about. And I'll get into family mobbing in a different discussion. Maybe that'll be my next video. But in this workplace mob, though, you'd be surprised, because I know a lot of people will say to you, like, oh, just go to HR and, HR will help. No, they won't. Okay? I need you to understand something. I don't know who needs to hear this, but HR does not work for you. HR works for the company. And HR is not gonna take they're a part of it. They know exactly what's going on. HR knows exactly what's going on with you. They're a part of it. They want you out just as badly, because they don't want to have to deal with it. A lot of times, the reason why these people want to push you out is because they don't want to have to fire you, because one, they don't want to have to pay for unemployment for you, or they don't want to have to give you severance. They don't want to have to deal with that. They will rather harass you and break you down mentally, emotionally, so that you lash out, so they can have a reason to fire you, or that you just lose it all, so that you could just lose everything. Because that's what they want. And I could tell that the way that I left, which was I just stopped, and I just didn't go into work on my next shift after my car got repossessed. I just didn't go in, and I didn't call. I didn't answer any of their phone calls or nothing. And they had people text me, talk about people are worried about you. No, they wasn't. They were waiting for my response, because then people already knew what was going on with my car and everything. I already knew. That's why they had planned a whole party the day it happened, at the same time that my car got taken. I don't think that was a coincidence. And they made sure that I knew that they were doing it on the day that I wasn't going to be there. And at that point, there was just a couple, within those last couple of weeks, the last couple of people that I actually fucked with at the time, they paid those people to turn against me when our executive board was in office. And they made up this whole theater thing to try to keep, they always had this idea in their brain that I was going to go to the CEO of the company and tell on them and tell them my side of the story or something. And they would do these weird things where they would they set up a whole gift shop, selling their shirts and stuff in our cafe area where the meetings were being held all day, almost like a distraction, so that it's there are people here, so that if she tries to go in there and talk to somebody, then they didn't want me talking to any of the bosses. And a part of me also feels like part of the reason was because they felt like if somebody started talking to me, they would see that I wasn't stupid. The way that I talk professionally, I have a very large vocabulary. I can hang. It's not an issue. When I'm chilling, when I'm like this, when I'm just being myself, yeah, I'm not gonna use a whole bunch of big words because I don't have to. But I can if I need to. And they didn't want people to see that part of me, because, again, it would have killed their whole narrative. And I don't know why they thought I was going to go tell the CEO. That shit would have looked crazy either way. I always knew that, though. But this is why you got to let people do some of this stuff. And I know it's hard. And I feel like if you're going through this, or if you have been through this, well, more specifically, if you're going through something like this, the thing that I did during that time was I just tried to stick to my guns. I held my own. I stood my ground. I became, go watch my video about becoming non-reactive, detaching, becoming non-reactive, and playing dumb. That video will really help you in this situation, because that's literally what I did. I detached from the situation because I was just like, these people don't want me here. But at the time, I was like, I still have a baby that I need to feed, and I have to get these bills paid the best that I can. I could not just quit out of nowhere. I had to pretend like I didn't know what was going on. So that's what I did. I just detached. I became non-reactive to their bullshit, and I played dumb. Like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, people don't like me? And I just started acting like I was on my own. I was cool by myself. See, this is the thing about introverts too, though. They be thinking that they can isolate you. They can't. You can't isolate an introvert. Like I've always been cool by myself. I really have never needed you. That's the one of the things that they're starting to learn too about you, especially because if God is isolating you, it's for a reason. So, and sometimes in that isolation, you really, like, I've learned a lot about myself, and I learned how strong I could be, in that quiet time. And it was hard. It's been, it's getting close to a year now that I haven't been there. And I haven't seen or heard anything about the situation or anything like that. Whether them people got away with it or not, it's whatever. All I know is that that company is going to go under. Those people can't hang on to good employees. They always had a high turnover rate. Because I remember, like, during COVID, we kept having all these classes of people coming in, and I was like, but I'm not seeing any of these new names sticking for real. Maybe a couple sprinkled here and there, but they've never been able to hold on to good talent. They don't know how to treat those people. The way that those people reward good workers is by giving them more work. And a lot of the good workers end up becoming bad workers because they realize that they get rewarded for bullshitting more than they do for actually working. Well, some of them, at least. Some of them don't get out of, being a good worker. They get reprimanded for that. Sorry, I have to hold it for a minute. I'm about to wrap this up, though. It's getting hot sitting in the window like that. But